Yo, welcome into a Continuous Century movie review, and a bit ago I had the pleasure of seeing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters, and to be honest with you, first I didn't really have a lot of high expectations for this movie. I remember seeing the first one in theaters and I enjoyed it, but I definitely did not like it as much as many of other people seeing this movie did. Seeing the first one, the first Into the Spider-Verse, I definitely loved the animation, and it was great. It was a good, fun Spider-Man movie, but I did feel it was a bit overhyped, and I didn't think it was anywhere near as good as people were saying, and so I didn't really have a lot of high expectations for this movie. In fact, people who know me know that I've been saying for a long time that I thought this movie was gonna fail. I thought this movie was gonna be actually pretty bad. That Sony was gonna get their little grubby Sony fingers on it after realizing that people wanted to see good Spider-Verse content and they were gonna mess it up. But no, they didn't. They did the impossible. They made 2 good Spider-Man movies in a row. Unthinkable. This is a new lesson for Sony. Let people do what they want to do, and the movies will turn out great. And like this one did. This is amazing. This is one of the best, I can comfortably say, one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. Definitely up there, maybe on the same level as No Way Home. I have to definitely watch it again to get a better look. But this movie was great, and it starts off kind of in a place that I didn't really expect it to. But I definitely enjoyed it. They spent a little bit more time with Gwen, which was something I felt that they were lacking a bit in the first one. That Gwen's story, especially I feel like Gwen's relationship with Peter Parker, should have definitely been fleshed out more, because that was her best friend in all her life. So we spent a lot of time focusing on Gwen as a character in that last one, and they focused on Gwen as a character a lot in this one. The first 20 minutes are all Gwen content. You really don't see Miles till about 20 minutes into the movie, and it's one is definitely a more character-focused film, not with just Gwen, but with Miles and his family, and you get to be really attached to every single character and who they are and their stories and their motivations, and to Miles' family, which is important for some bigger revelations that come down the line, which I will not spoil because it's not a spoiler review. But man, is this movie great! Oh my god, there's when it finally gets into it after setting up all that character stuff. Boy, does this movie go! It is when you get to like see Spider Society and all of just the little spider people and Easter eggs, and I'm not gonna spoil because there's so many great things that if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you know a lot of Spider-Man content, I wouldn't consider myself a huge Spider-Man fan, but I definitely enjoy the character. So there's a lot of stuff that I saw in the movie that I was like, oh my god, I recognize the Spider-Man from X thing, and there's a couple of crazy surprises in there too, which I thought was really cool. When you see them, you'll be like, oh my god, it's that thing from the thing with the spider. You'll see it. It'll be great. The animation in this is beautiful as well. It's even more beautiful than in the last one. When we go to the other dimensions, we get to see that every single other spider person, like their own world, has its own unique aesthetic. And that's really great. Like Gwen's world is like very pastel-y. Like the art is like kind of like, I don't know how to describe them. Pastels. It's not really an accurate description, I would think, but it's like it just has its own unique feel. The same with like 2099's world and other dimensions that we get to visit. They all feel very unique, and nothing feels very samey. When you're in a different dimension, you get the sense that this is not the world that I was in before, and it's a little bit trippy at times, can be, but I think that it works and suits the movie fantastically. The animation in this is beautiful, some of the best animation I've seen in a while. And this is been floating around as the longest animated film by a major American production, and I think it is all the better for it. While you can definitely feel the length sometimes, I like they took a bit of extra time to explore Miles, to explore all the different characters, to explore the world, and to properly set up the stakes for this one. with a lot of really gripping action set pieces, like the one they've shown off a lot in the trailers, the spider chase when when all the spider people in Spider Society have to go after Miles. That scene is gripping and it's riveting and it's really intense, and the entire time it leaves you on the edge of the seat, like what's gonna happen? Is Miles gonna be away? It's just the whole thing, and it takes a bit of time, but it's all great stuff. And every single action sequence in this movie, while not as great as that one, but is at least coming near it. And I almost forgot to talk about the music, because we all know that Spider-Verse's soundtrack from the first one is famous, and while not as iconic as the first one, the soundtrack is still really good, and there's still a lot of really great songs that work really well with the movie, and that get to fill up the vibe of the world and make it feel like its own thing, and that's what's great. Now, to talk about the villain, the Spot. Everybody's been saying it, that this, like, the trailers, he comes off as like a joke villain, and that's on purpose. You're supposed to underestimate him, and as the movie goes on, it gets more and more threatening, and it's like, oh, this guy could be an actual real problem. Like, he's a real threat. Like at first it's like, he starts off as like kind of like a noble, like, why am I even wasting my time on you, like, kind of thing. He's like really jokey, and then afterwards it's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, this is about to be an issue. And he's really interesting, with a really interesting backstory that ties in with Miles and everything in a really cool way that I definitely did not see coming. And I think he's gonna be one of the more iconic villains if they finish him off right in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Because while since this movie was originally marketed as a part 1, I mean, it's still part 1. This movie ends on a pretty intense cliffhanger, and there are some people who are pissed about that. Me personally, I loved it. This is like, when you typically see part 1 movies, it's more like, this is the story for, like, Avengers Infinity War. This is the story for this one. Boom, it's done. But we still got more of this same story, but it's kind of like, we finished this event, now we're moving on to this event, the next one. In this one, it feels like a TV show cliffhanger ending. Like, we're gonna see the next episode next week. Like for people who watch anime, like, we're about to break into the Soul Society next week, and everybody's gearing up for this big epic battle. But we're not gonna get to see it until next year, because Beyond the Spider-Verse doesn't come out until a year from now, which I am so excited to see that movie. This movie blew all of my expectations out of the water, and I'm so happy that it did, because this movie was phenomenal. I genuinely can't wait to see it again in theaters. I can't remember the last time I was so hyped at the end of a movie like this one. This is gonna go down as one of my favorite endings in movie history, probably. If I have, like, maybe my opinions will change, but I really love the ending for this movie. And there's also there's no post-credit scenes for this, so you can technically just get up and leave after the movie's over, but I really enjoyed the ending visuals. They were really beautiful, and just really, like, they felt really anime to me. Like, the whole ending of the movie felt like super anime. Like, I was gonna get to read the next chapter of the manga next week, which I really enjoyed as a big anime fan. So yeah, that was really cool. Anything else I forget to mention? The jokes in this movie were really good. There's a lot of really great comedy with Miles as Spider-Man talking to his dad as a cop, and then how they interact when they're on the job is really fun, and the whole family dynamic and everything. There's a lot of great jokes in this. It's a really, really fun movie, and I genuinely really cannot wait to see the next one. Man, this movie was so good. Yeah, as for a rating system, this is probably the first time I'm really explaining my rating system, since there's a lot of videos that I recorded for reviews that I did not post, but I explained it. But this is the first time I really explained the rating system. My rating system is a standard 0 to 10, no, 1 to 10 rating system with a little bit more added, I guess. So from 1 to 10, and if you're a Young Justice fan, you will get these references because this is one big Young Justice reference. But at the top, we're disturbed, turbed, disconcerted, concerted, distraught, underwhelmed, whelmed, overwhelmed, get trot, and feel the Aster. And I gotta say that I am definitely feeling the Aster on this one.
Superboy, are you alright?
I'm fine. Feeling the Aster.
This is a 10 out of 10. Beautiful, perfect movie. I would not change a single thing. In fact, I wish it was longer. This is one of those movies that I like. Would just if I was able to, I would turn right back around and go watch it again immediately after, or be able to just walk in the next theater and watch the next one if I could. It's so good. It's so good. Love this movie. Please go check it out. Support the industry. Check stuff if you like our stuff. So yeah. Please, if you enjoyed, do all the YouTube things. If you didn't, you know what to do. Hit the dislike button. Tell me how much you hate our faces in the comments, and end the video.